Hey, and welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by Patreon members like you.
Thank you for being a Patreon member.
As a Patreon member, you get a video of the podcast that we put out twice a month.
Now, on with the show.
No, I said it looks dark.
Wow.
You were never in the conversation.
Wow.
You added yourself to the conversation.
I want to add myself.
You want to add yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I want to add me too.
All right.
Oh, man. Whew. Take those off.
I don't get nothing. No notification.
What's that? Well, I mean, we're on the right place.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Oh, no.
You're mental. Good day, everyone, and welcome to Monday. Monday.
What's up,
Good evening from Massachusetts. What's going on, everyone? Thank you guys so much for showing how to install behind the head unit newer F-150. Put the Helix DSP behind mine. That is awesome. Akron, Ohio, checking in.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love that one. Hey guys, I'm jealous. You're working. I can't get it in my back. Don't be. Trust me. Don't be.
Yeah.
Hey from Seattle.
What's up?
Hey from Michigan. Ground zero.
Ground zero.
Oh, Michigan's doing bad. Hey guys.
What's up, Christian?
So, since I have you select group here, one of the questions we always get asked is about white box radios, or what we like to we refer to them as white box radios. That pretty much includes anything that runs Android
What's
on
up,
it.
Bobby? Yep.
As an Android specific radio, and always everyone's like, they throw out these brands and they ask us what we think.
Like Tesla radios, any
T-shaped I don't call them what you want.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call them all crap. And like we didn't install one today, but we were working on a car where the guy had one in there, and yes, I mean junk, and they are garbage. It was so crap. Wow, rainy in SoCal.
Wow, 65.
The world is definitely ending.
They take so long.
Oh my god, dude.
To boot up, and they go to a process of the screen, and you're like, okay, cool.
Nope.
And then nope.
Then you hit
jumps
the
to
tuner,
another one.
and
Oh
it's
my
like,
god.
oh, Jesus Christ. And I've never seen a radio that has like the voltage sensing like they had. So it was only getting like, the battery was kind of low, so it was at 10 volts and it cut all the audio down to next to nothing. And I'm like, what the hell? Started the car and it popped back on. I was like, what is this, a Land Rover?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, just...
What's up, Buffalo?
And it sounded so bad.
Hi from Australia.
I mean, we were doing some really funky stuff anyways, because that's what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But god, awful. God awful. Just the worst. It hurt my ears.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So for all of you that asked that and are curious, please, for the love of God, they're not going to. It's not a miracle. You can't get something for nothing. They're just garbage. And if you're trying to build an amazing system, it's the wrong piece to do it. They promise the world and they deliver a pile of steaming poo-poo.
And then you have to go through like so many settings and oh my god, no.
And we'll boot up in Chinese. Excellent for the win. Definitely excellent for the win. I mean,
Bill Freeman, what's up, buddy?
I would deal with a duel
Jesse
before I had to
Jackson,
deal with
David.
one of those. God, it was just like, I don't have a lot of hair, and I could feel them jumping out of my head and going, ah!
You lose some of that today.
Oh, it was just... Norway
What's
in the
that,
house.
Norway?
Hi, guys. What are your thoughts about a DS18 system for your vehicle? You know, it's funny you should ask that. Last week, so a lot of the manufacturers right now are doing things like this, where they're doing online training and they talk about their products. And DS18 did one, and it was all about all their Jeep products. And I was like, I'm going to watch that. Go figure, right? And they got a lot of neat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where it's at. They got a lot of neat stuff. If you're into the loudspeaker world, and I call loudspeakers, you know, the very loud, you know, like the closed backs or the sealed backs or the big horn tweeters. If you're into that type of stuff, definitely check them out. They make a lot of neat stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely cool. And there again, if you put a DSP on any of that stuff, you can get a really good sound out of it. I'm not talking Focal, Morel. I'm not talking that side of the world. What I'm talking about is making that stuff sound
better,
really good.
Well, not better,
for
but
what
yes,
it is.
exactly.
And yeah, I mean it's nice. So like they have some new waterproof loudspeakers that was pretty cool, and that's they were talking about for the Jeep. And of course, if you like lights, God, they got lots of speakers with lights. Oh my jeez. Bite you in the ass with Fitment. Hi guy.
I'm trying to get that one, but there's like, hey guys, any work on the 2020 Q7? The sub sucks. Need to replace suggestions. The Q7 is there.
I don't think we
The
did.
Audi?
Oh, is that the loud? Yeah.
That's what you want to talk about?
Are we socially distancing in the bay now? Yes. He's 6 feet away from me. That's yep, see, 6 feet.
Oh, really? That's what you considered 6 feet? Okay. What's up, Victor?
Hey guys, where do you get the riser thingies? What riser thingies? If you're talking about the silver things that we use, those are actually the 8 gauge to 4 gauge reducer, or the 4 gauge to 8 gauge reducers out of fuse holders. If you're talking about like the black plastic stuff, well, it's just black plastic. What do you think of the AudioFrog GB subs? Those we haven't heard, I don't think.
The GB subs? No. Well, only on Knowledge Fest.
Yeah, I haven't heard one outside in the wild.
Yeah.
We've only heard their speakers. I can assume that they're like everything else in the line, but I don't know.
Hey, Carlitos, saludos, mi hermano.
That's not an alligator.
All right, so I have this one. Hey guys, I have a 2011 Camaro.
Hey Tim.
Camaro.
Yes.
Running 2JL 12W7. Each have a slash 1005. Hertz Mille 6.5 components and Hertz 6x9s in the rear with the JL XD600. Pioneer NEX 8500 deck. Trying to decide, do I need or should I get a DSP? Thank you.
As I like to do with a lot of questions that are like you typed in a whole bunch of information. And that's great that we did it because it sounds like you have a really exceptional sound system for sure. And you should be proud of all that equipment because it's very nice stuff.
Yeah.
But the question is, do I need a DSP? And I could have answered that without you telling me everything you have. And the answer is, well, it's a bit complicated. And let's take it like this. When you have a Pioneer radio, it has a 13-band EQ. When you have a Kenwood radio, it's a 13-band EQ. When you have an Alpine radio, it's a 9-band parametric EQ. If you have a Sony radio, it's whatever Sony is. Not that it's bad, I just don't know off the top of my head. And it's what's called a global EQ, meaning if you adjust the tweeter, it adjusts the tweeter for every tweeter in the car. So when you're sitting in the car, and this is something Fernando and I had a conversation about today when someone was asking about 2 tunes for a car. I want a sound quality tune and I want a loud tune. And we got to discussing it and he made an interesting point. When someone says they want a loud tune, let's do a tune without time delay and let's just do a global tune like a radio. So you sit in the car, you turn up the treble, you turn down the treble, you do whatever it is you can with that 13 bands and you just get the most sound possible out of it and it sounds really good. And you're happy. And then you realize that there's a whole other world to audio. And you're like, maybe I'm missing something. There could be something I'm missing here. Like it just sounds sometimes like there's 2 people in the dash singing and there's just weird things going on. That's where the DSP comes in. You could still do the tuning, but now you can do tuning to where you can tune for this door and you can tune for this door so that when they're in here, they sound the same because that distance, that cloth, that seat, this position here, that changes the whole way the sound gets to you. So even though you have a 6.5 here and a 6.5 here and they're the exact same 6.5, so I guarantee you if you put an RTA where your head goes and listen to them, they do not sound the same here. Okay, so a DSP will allow you to go in there and EQ them so that they arrive at your head at the same time. They arrive at your head with the same frequency, same sound as it were, signature. If that is something you're into, then by all means, get a DSP. Now my immediate answer to this would be yes, everyone needs a DSP. Everyone should have some form of DSP. But it ain't for everybody, okay? It's a lot more work and it's a whole nother learning curve. But to me, that's why I got into it. As soon as I found out there was EQs back in the 90s, I was like, I want an EQ because I want to be able to really get in there and go to town. So I think it just adds a whole nother level of excitement to the system that really, if you're into audio, which a lot of you guys are because you sit through this show, all of you should have DSPs because it's just the next evolution of what is cool in car audio. And yeah, get one.
Oh, right.
Sorry, long answer. I
that was a
apologize.
long one.
But I
It's
just
not
don't want to
junk,
say
Fernando.
yes.
Yes. That would be simple. Yes.
I know.
You need it.
Oklahoma.
Wow. Now I have to find. Everything is crazy.
I'm sorry. What's up, John?
What's John Catalano? Marty Dean.
Mr. RCA. Is Marty here?
Marty Dean says, I have a new Lambo. Looking to remote star. What do you think? Hey, you're probably the guy for remote stars.
I was gonna say Marty can handle that, man. Time alignment for the win. Scroll down. There was There was a Mustang question. All right, right there. Next one. Oh shoot, go down. I know, it jumped as soon as you did that. Keep going. Keep going. Next one right over there. I have a 2018 Mustang.
Yeah, you gotta read fast.
With a 9-speaker system, no factory. No factory sub.
Looking audio control DM 810 or go full active. One harness could I use connected without cutting the wires.
Wait a minute, how does it have a 9-speaker system with no factory
You
subwoofer?
have to have a
Because that's 3.
and then you have a sub.
Okay, you mean sub in the back? Because the bottom speaker in the front door is a subwoofer. Either way, check out go to AR and see and check there, because if it's the 3-way set in the door, that is an AR compliant piece, and if it is, then yeah, you don't necessarily need to do a DM810, but you could look at the Bitnove, which is AR compliant now. So you might be able to plug in like a Bitnove, which is 9 channels of DSP into it. So you can do 3-way, front active, rear, and sub also. So something to check out. And I believe ARC also just passed AR, so the ARC 8-channel amp might also be. And of course you have the Kenwood 6600 DSP, which is 6 channels of active sound plus 4 outputs. So you could do that Kenwood amp on the front, 2-channel and a monoblock, or a 4-channel to power the sub and the rears. So there are quite a few options, but I would check AR first.
All right.
Because the DM810 is not AR compliant yet.
All right. Can I hook up a power sub to a DSP?
Yes. Yes, you can. Actually, it's funny you should ask that, because Audison's Forza amplifier, which is the 8-channel DSP amplifier, as well as the Prima, they have the 9th channel output, and that 9th channel RC output is in the Prima system. When you buy the pre-made Prima system, it goes to an amplified 10-inch enclosure, just like the Rockford P300, which is sitting right there on the floor. Yeah, you could totally do that. It's an amplifier still. Just because the sub is attached to it doesn't mean you can't do that. I mean, when you bought a TV VCR, you could still plug a DVD player into it, right? Yeah, am I right? Yeah. Okay.
Do you ever hear about Exton audio?
No.
No.
Access DSPX.
What do you
We
think?
haven't got a chance to review that yet. We were in negotiations to get one right before the world decided to stop spinning. So I'm just as soon as things start getting back to normal, we'll get back together and we'll get that thing rocking and rolling. So yeah, we were. It was like the week, and then poof, everything fell apart. So, what is the best way to tune a powered subwoofer? There isn't a best way to tune a powered subwoofer. Most powered subwoofers that we interact with, typically you keep the gain down as low as humanly possible, the crossover down as low as humanly possible, and if it's got bass boost, for God's sakes, leave that off.
It looks like they have a pre-tune already, because
I mean, on the P300s,
it's like all the way down.
we turn it to 80 hertz, and we
Sounds
keep
really good.
everything else down. It's like off 80, and we're done, and we leave it, and we install, as you guys know, tons of those things, and they sound great and they don't break.
All right, so what do you think? Prius Prime Hybrid 2020. Should I install a Pioneer and a new Pioneer, all new amplifiers?
So new Pioneer amplifiers?
Yeah, everything.
All Pioneer all the
All
way?
amplifiers, yeah.
I would.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a Prius. Yeah, why not?
You look,
I mean,
I mean, it's
The only problem I
has a
have with the
JBL.
Pioneer amplifiers is that those amps are so big. They just feel big, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Which is funny, but yeah. Especially for a Prius. If there's room, definitely go with it. Access
know.
DSP X. Okay, so everyone's talking about the Access DSP. I know.
All right.
We gotta
So,
get one.
How did you guys tune to get the bass up front effect? I keep getting
A null around 80
hertz
hertz
on my GV60 driver.
So, okay. All I can say in that you're never gonna understand, okay, is using polarity pops. Okay, the polarity pop track that we use, the pop, pop, pop. If you have an iPhone, you can download the My Disc version of it, which is what we use. It's a Sheffield Labs version of it. And the easiest thing to do is to play the polarity pops with your laptop open and your DSP going. And the first thing you want to do is obviously get your left and right center good. And then you can use your polarity pops to bring the subwoofer forward as well, as far as adjusting the distance. It's one of those things that the easiest way to do it, and for you to figure out what I'm talking about, is to download the polarity pop track, grab your time alignment slider for your subwoofer, put it at 0, and then while you're listening to the pops go, just start sliding it and your subwoofer will start moving back and forth in your car. Give it a shot, see if that helps.
All right, I have this one. Where it went? Right here.
I don't know.
Christian.
Want me to read it? You can read it.
I have a Kicker 1001. It's a used amp, no bass knob, and my gains are barely turned up, and it's keeping blowing up.
Keeps blowing the fuse?
My Kicker. I'm guessing
keeps
it's blowing this up.
Because it's... Is it a problem with the amp? Okay, 2 things. Maybe 3, but we'll start with that. First thing, just because you don't have a bass knob shouldn't mean anything, but you can order a bass knob for it. They sell standalone bass knobs. Next, what sub are you running on it? And there again, if it's a 1,000-watt amplifier, do you have a subwoofer that can handle 1,000 watts? And I don't mean 1,000 watts RMS, because 1,000 watts RMS is really a 500-watt subwoofer. I don't care how you can argue with me all you want on that one. If you put 1,000 watts to it, you're going to destroy it every time. So if you're doing that combination, change the ohm load. Go lower, because you really only want to get half the power out of that. Thirdly, whatever it is, if you're worried about there's something wrong with the amplifier, you can send the amplifier into Kicker for service, and they will check. They can check the amplifier. If you've seen the video where we went to Kicker, Aziz, which is no longer in, it's not his department anymore. But anyways, they will go ahead and AP the amplifier and see what is wrong with it and give you a quote if it does need to be repaired. That is one of the nice things that they are physically repair the amplifiers there. So it might be something you think about, but it's going to be one of those things, my guess.
All right, so the Kicker is a Comp R 2 ohms. So
yeah, that's a lot of power. That's not a 1,000-watt woofer.
That's not 1,000.
That's not a 1,000-watt woofer. Comp R?
Yeah.
That's like 600 watts. What does it say? 1,000 watts RMS if you want to max, you don't want. No, you don't. Kicker, Comp R, 2 ohm. That's 2 ohm. Yeah, no, that's too much power, man. You might want to go down to 4 ohm. That'll be perfect.
All right, what's up, guys? What radio would you recommend to upgrade on my 2014 Ford Focus? Thinking either Pioneer or Kenwood. I go with Kenwood.
I mean, I have a Kenwood in my car, and I really like it.
Yeah. I go with the Kenwood.
It's the XR Exelon series. To me, the nice thing about Kenwood is they do give you the option for Exelon, which is a better product. You know, it's better. They put better components inside of it. Not to take anything away from Pioneer. Pioneer claims to use audio-grade components in all their radios. And, of course, then there's Sony that is just really built around the fact that it's super simple to use.
What sub will work?
What are we talking about?
I'm gonna for
watt?
the 1,000.
If we're trying to run 1,000 watts to it, you need
L7?
a Q class L7.
Yeah. Or the regular square L7.
No, that won't handle 1,000 watts. The Q class is it. That's it. I mean, we put 950 watts to a Q class subwoofer, and it that's what eats it up. That's it.
All right. 2017 Ford Focus RS with the 10-channel factory Sony. How do you bypass the Sony amplifier?
What year is it?
2017.
17? That might be a... That might be it's a 2017 Sony. That is going to be the crossover year, so it's either going to be an Amp Pro or a, what am I trying to think of, Nav TV? Zen A to B.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be a Zen A to B,
Thank
or
you,
it's going to
Tim.
be an Amp Pro. And how you can figure out what it is go to the amplifier. If the amplifier has a micro USB plugged into the side of it, then it's going to be a Zen A to B. If it doesn't have the micro USB plugged into the side of it, then it's going to be an Amp Pro. Buy that, plug it in, rock on. It's that simple.
All right.
If it's an Amp Pro, it can also be an AR, which means you can also do a DSR1 with the T-harness, and that allows you to actually remove the amplifier and use that space for something else.
If you buy an audio control... where is it? Man,
It's like
sorry.
a pause button.
I know, right? Where is it? If I buy an audio control DSP amp, do I still have to use the computer to tune?
Yes. Yes. The DSP amplifier, any DSP amplifier, doesn't matter whose it is, they all rely on some form of a
Software.
laptop that plugs into it to be tuned. The only exception to that rule is the Kicker Q-Class amplifier, because how it was designed to be installed in the car as a regular amplifier, meaning if you never plug the USB cable into it, it's just got dials on the side that allow you to do gain, crossover, 2-channel, 4-channel, all the switches and dials. It looks like a normal amplifier. Until you take that USB cable and plug it in, and then it changes its world forever, and it will never go back to being anything but a DSP amplifier, as far as I know. I mean, why would you want to?
Yeah.
But yes, if you buy the audio control, any of the D-class amplifiers, or the D nomenclature amplifiers, it has to be plugged in. It will not do anything unless you do. But don't feel bad, because you're not the only one. There's a lot of guys that buy these things and just plug them in and flash the memory, and they don't do shit with them.
All right.
We know, we've seen them.
I'm gonna try that. I have to download
What?
that song. Tim,
Mm-hmm.
just send like a
Try the
song,
text
a track.
Okay.
All right. So hang
Well,
on.
I saw.
this
Is
one.
there a tool? I wanted to.
Yes. Can a P3 D210 be powered by a 750.1 running
At
the
4
sub
ohm.
of 4 ohm? I still feel there's a lot of power for that.
Well, no, that's half, because remember, it's 1 ohm
4 ohm.
stable.
It's
2
1 ohm
ohm
stable,
So yeah, no, that will be fine. Because it's okay. So it's DC straight at 1 ohm or 2 ohm. I mean, it's 750. It's the max
It's
power at
constant.
1 ohm or 2 ohm. 4 ohm, it does go down, but I think it only goes down to 500 watts. Which, if it does go down to 500 watts, a P3 will handle that.
Yeah.
Personally, just get the T500, unless you're thinking about adding a second sub at some point.
There you go. Yeah.
How are the pandemics? Sucky.
Yes,
I mean,
it
we're
is.
all good there.
I'm trying
Okay,
to
is there a
find
tool
out-
or a way
There
to
you go.
check if the system's
Require sisters.
a tool? Okay. What we're talking about is load resistors, and is there a way to check to see if your system needs it beforehand?
Yeah. I don't.
Is there a tool? Depends. And here's what I mean by depends. And not the kind you need if you're old. If you, okay, an RTA is a tool you're looking for. At the end of the day, you need an RTA, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to disconnect a speaker lead off of the factory radio or amplifier, and then you're going to put an RTA on it, which doesn't carry a load, and see if you still have a signal. If you still have a signal, then now what you want to do is you want to look at the before, meaning with the speaker connected and with the speaker not connected, focusing around the high frequencies, and see if those are changing. What happens is there's really no tool, because I mean, you could also do it with maybe a small handheld amp and a high level to low level adapter. You could test to see if it needs a load resistor, because if you disconnect the speaker, turn the car off, let it cycle, let it sit, connect a high level to low level adapter that does not have load resistor, go into, let's say, a dummy like a Dork amplifier that we use, and then have a speaker on the other side of it, you could see if there's sound. If there's no sound, and obviously it needs a load resistor. The RTA is definitely the easiest tool, because and you could use a digital multimeter as well, I suppose, because you're just looking, you could use a digital multimeter and play like pink noise and put it to AC and see if you get anything out of it. Yeah, that would work. But that would just be to test to see if it's dropping off audio. The second one is the more important one, the one that like the 4 does, where it just the D-class amplifier doesn't need a load in order for it to turn on and off. It needs a load in order to keep the amplifier in check, because if it's not there, the amplifier just goes, woo! And your tweeters just go, dang, I can't take that. Okay, so that's where like the blue LGDs, when audio control says, you know, if you're not sure, just throw some blue LGDs in there, and it's not going to hurt. It will only help. It's when it needs the actual load, the higher load, like the 30, the 20, the 50, all those, the 60, that you need the green or the grays. So I hope that answered that question.
Oh, wow. All right. What is the other
Scroll all
one?
the way to the top.
I'm trying to know. It's
Try
like
that.
this one is good. I installed the kicker key for the mids and highs, and I'm getting a constant static hiss. I'm using a high level inputs, not the RCAs.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That
What car?
there should be no static hiss.
No,
Is
high
the
level.
gain obviously the gain is the one thing that you manually have to do on that amplifier, is turn that down. If the ground is good, meaning not going to a seat bolt, it's a nice sanded away area that you're getting a good ground from. The treble on the radio isn't boosted. The crossover was set properly. You really shouldn't be getting any issues with that amplifier. I mean, we've never had that. Check the only other thing is maybe check the dip switches, see if one is not totally clicked. But that would be the only thing I could think of. There again, if there is an issue, no one is infallible. Get it back to Kicker and let them figure it out for you.
The plastic that we use comes from this company called Farco. It's
But
a
you
plastic.
can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it. Yeah.
Do you know
the
what
stri-
volume the ILX 650 clips?
Tim, we use Apple
For what?
for music.
Oh yeah, I use
Apple
iTunes
Music.
Music. Yeah.
iTunes,
We tried
yeah.
Tidal for a while, and it was better, but it wasn't that much better. And yeah, family-wise, it just made more sense to go with iTunes Music. Plus, more people use that, so it kind of doesn't make any sense to tune a car to a service that nobody uses. That's kind of the argument to be made. It's like if everyone is using Spotify, Pandora, and Apple Music, then we kind of got to play along in that field, because they're not going to hear what we're doing.
Yeah.
As far as where that radio clips at, we have never tested the ILX W650 to see where it clips at, but it is a really hot output. I can tell you that right now. If it is too loud for you, the nice thing is there is a volume attenuation on the crossover page, which is very helpful when you're doing something instead of using balance and fader. It's not in the time alignment where everyone else puts it. It's on the crossover page. You can't do left and right independent. You just have to do front and rear, and we do use that quite a bit.
Cool, Anthony. You're gonna be happy, man.
But you
Like
just-
the amplifier.
Oh yeah, 61200.
Yes.
How can you? Hold on.
Exactly.
Let me go. Okay, how can you help your sub blend with your front components without time alignment? Aftermarket head unit, no time alignment, 4-channel amp, rear channel, bridge, 4 sub, and front passenger for components. I mean, it's all built on delay. God, honestly, I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, I've never tried to do it without time alignment. Most of the time what it comes down to at that point is crossover and gain. So you'd have to make sure that you're getting a good crossover point between the front mid bass and the subwoofer, and the gain between the two is set properly. The problem with trying to get subwoofer up front is volume. It is not. You can't get 215 sound up front without putting 215s up front. Meaning you're not going to get that, like what you're getting with the big ported box in the back coming from the front of the dash without putting it in the front of the dash. When we looked at Brian's car, he has his subwoofer up in the front kick panel. He told us how he bought the whole carpet kit just to do that. And the reason why it's there is so that he can get that volume of that subwoofer from the front of the car. What you can get is balance, meaning your sub couples with that mid bass and gives you a really elegant sound, but it's not like shaking the windows. It's straight SQ balanced sound. As soon as you deviate that volume a little bit, it goes out the window.
All right. Hey guys, I own a 2004 Dodge Ram. Where is it? 1500 with the factory Infinity.
Yep.
Yes. Can I use? Where is it?
Right there. You had it. All right. Hold on. Yep. I would like to install a new radio double din. Can I use my factory amplifier? Yes. 2004 Dodge Ram. No, you can't. Nope.
You gotta bypass
that. Metron. Yes. MetronLine.com. And it's gonna hurt. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna hurt because that's the amplifier up above the glove box, and it's murder. But you gotta bypass the factory amplifier. So what I would suggest doing if you are gonna have to bypass the factory amplifier, pick yourself up a small amplifier, kicker key, audio control 4.300, a Pioneer GMD 100, a Rockford PBR 404, one of the small micro amplifiers to get that sound back up. But yeah, and I would also recommend, if you don't want to go through all that, replace the speakers, which you really should be doing anyways, because if it's 2004, those speakers are shot and they're garbage.
All right. I recently installed kicker speakers in my doors with a SCAR amplifier. They now have a whining sound. What could be the problem? The gain is too high. It will reduce the gain if you turn it down. Yes, I mean, if the gain is too high, definitely you're going to have...
so what you're talking about is engine noise.
It's
Sounds
engine
like
noise.
he's talking about
Yes,
engine noise.
yes.
So, I mean, the joy of engine noise is if you... Okay, so
It can be different things.
It could be different things. When you mentioned gain, so we'll have the fun conversation about gain. Gain is not volume control, people. I don't know how many times people have to say this, but if I cannot
turn the gain
tell
up.
you how many people have... Dude, I only got my gains halfway up. Who gives a shit? If they need to be all the way down, turn them down.
Yeah.
There again, not you. I'm just... It's 30 years of hearing that, just kind of like...
Yeah.
The gain control is designed to match the output voltage of the radio to the input sensitivity of the amplifier. That's it. So if this puts out 4 volts, this input sensitivity is set to 4 volts. Now what we have is gain overlap, which has become all the rage. So because music, everyone says, all right, well, we get that. Like if this is 4 volt, this is 4. But I get no sound there. Well, that's because your recording sucks. All right, so we'll give it gain overlap, which means we'll give it 5 or 10 dBs more of gain overlap so that I can compensate for the fact that some music has an abundance of loudness and some music doesn't. No one treats it like that. Everyone just assumes that if I play modern music and I've set it for 5 or 10 dBs of gain overlap, I could just blast it like that. Well, there's going to be repercussions. You're still clipping the amplifier. We won't even get into that. But the gain has to be set appropriate to match that radio. If it's not, you have an issue there. But there is more to it. The RCA coming between the radio and the amplifier. If it's in the wrong area, if that amplifier doesn't have noise isolation or shielding built into it, which a lot of those amplifiers don't, you can pick up noise, just radiated noise coming over the RCA. If it's a bad ground, again, everyone says they do amazing grounds, but I cannot tell you how many cars we get and the ground sucks. Just because it's screwed into metal doesn't mean it's a good ground, okay? Period. It's not always the case. So there's a lot of things that can cause the issue. And not to mention the equipment. So depending on the type of radio you have, you may have, like this car we worked on today. Someone up here obviously missed the beginning of the show. They were asking about a Tesla-style radio. They're pieces of crap. Plain and simple. Go back, watch the beginning. Not saying you have one, but some radios do not build in the good circuitry that will eliminate that stuff, and that's why they're cheaper. So there's a lot of things that can cause this headache we call engine noise. Not saying, now we've put in SCAR amplifiers, and do they have engine noise? Do they have floor noise? Mm-hmm. Are they the cleanest amplifiers on the planet? I'm going to tick every box on that. They are not the cleanest amplifier on the planet. Do they have floor noise? Yes. Is there a chance for engine noise? Totally. Yep. But that's the price that's the price difference. Rockford builds a 2,500 watt amp for double the money. Why? Why do they do that? Why does it have to be double the money? Quality control, better design. These are all things that get taken into consideration. So you have to decide what you're willing to live with.
That's right.
You know, turn the gain down, the noise goes away. Turn the gain down, problem solved. Get the bigger amp next time. I don't know.
Somebody asked, what are your thoughts on the Sony RSX GS9?
Love it. Hopefully this week we'll get in Fernando's car. Dang it. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Thank you, Bobby. You have to go back to work.
Go back to work, Bobby. Protect and serve. Dean,
Yeah.
I think his gain is set too high today. Hey, we're all a little on edge here, and definitely I'll be the first to admit that.
Your gain is too high?
My gain is definitely too high.
Every day.
Lately, yeah, trust me, it's getting a lot of miles in though.
What's
after
up,
work.
Luis? How you doing, buddy?
Yep. So I was thinking about it. Saturday night when we left here, I went home. I did 6.5 miles. Sunday morning, I got up and I did 9 miles. And I was like, wow, that was like back to back. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah. But tonight we're going for a walk. So Sue was like, can we go for a walk tonight? I was like, I don't care. We just got to do something. Your legs are going to be tired because I'm just going to walk. What do you got?
Have you guys heard about DB Drive?
Yeah.
Speakers. I have 4 new speakers. Put it in my car Friday as well as my sub. And I have components. Regular cost speakers in the rear.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Like it. Have you ever installed the Rockford Fozier PM100X? Oh, is that those little...
Amplifier?
Are those little boosters? Isn't that the little line driver boosters that they make? The little PX100X? We did the review on those. Those are those inline... I think those are those inline, like, marine...
Amplifier?
That take it from 25 to 50 watts, the line doublers. If
I'm
that's
not
what you're
saying,
talking
okay.
about, yes, and they do work. We do have, if that's what you're talking about, those little boxes that like they have no power and ground or anything. You just hook them up to the speaker wire, and yeah, they work and they're funny. The compact amplifiers. Thank you. Hey, it's Eric Russell's in the house.
There you go.
If you want to see, we did a review on those, and we with voltmeter and the whole 9 yards because it was like there's no way. But if it's that amplifier, then yeah. Those things work. It's quite hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of tech behind it, but yeah, they're good. If you split an RCA on a head unit, do you lose power? Thank you for asking that question because this was a question that Jeff Smith and I talked about in length because we were both under the assumption that yes, you do lose power, and I argued to the point that yeah, you're going to lose power, and then it became a conversation on here, and I was like, you know what? We're going to run a test and find out. So we set up our bench. We didn't film it because it was like stupid and messy as hell because we just connected up a bunch of stuff and just kept wiring it off to see if we would lose any voltage, and we didn't. So I'm guessing the answer to that question is no.
There you go.
None that we could do. Now, if you're splitting off and going to like 20 amplifiers, possibly.
Now, we use a good RCA.
We use good RCAs.
Yeah.
We did, like, I think we ended up with, like, 8 different amplifiers coming off of one RCA. And, you know, Daisy changed it out. And, no, it worked fine. It was really...
Hey, what's up, Jack Deal?
It was really eye-opening for us, for sure. Because for years, I mean, both Jesper and I were like, yeah, it's always been the thing, you know? We should teach people to install the ground first. Make that the most important step. Maybe... they get people to start appreciate it instead, or just wanting to hear. Yeah, I hear you, John. No, you're making a point. The ground is just as important. We talked about that the other day. And I know you, back when you used to do this, you've always seen the guys come in and they got, 4-gauge power and a 12-gauge ground, or it's grounded to the seat, or some, yeah. Ground can fix most problems.
All right. Can I use a speaker level input and the RCA inputs at the same time in an audio control DM608? I want to use the stock Bose center signal into my DSP. Where is it?
Okay, I get the question.
In my own, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I get the question. So the answer to the question is technically yes. However, you can't use the same inputs, meaning you can't use inputs 1 and 2 RCA and inputs 2 high level to low level. You'd have to use input, it has to be its own input, if that makes sense. So, like if you're going to use 1 and 2 for front, 3 or 4, or one of the standalones, what is it, 7, and which one is the standalones, 5 and 6 on the DM810? Which ones are the standalone? Is it 9 and 10? 9 and 10. 9 and 10 are the standalone. But it only has 6 channels of input. So See, that's you understand what I'm saying? You can't use one of the high level inputs and one of the RCA inputs at the same time. So you'd have to pick one or the other, and then okay.
All right. Do you guys have any of the speaker adapters for a Chevy HHR so I don't have to cut the stock plugs?
No, but Metra may. MetraOnline.com.
Probably, yeah.
And you could get the part number and then pick it up on Amazon.
Yeah.
7 and 8 are mono. 7 and 8 are mono, but it's the inputs that you're worried about. Because I think there's a mono input. Like, I think 3 and... Yeah, on the 810 there's a mono input.
It's mono. It's just like 810.
Oh, hold on. Do I have that on my phone?
Have you guys installed an Orion XDR 1500? No.
No, but I'd like to.
Really?
Why not?
That's the new one.
Okay, so 5 and 6 on the DM810 are monoed inputs. So if you go into 5 with the center channel, then you can route that to any output you wanted. So like 7 or 9 and 10 are the monoed outputs. So you could use 9 or 10 for the center and just feed it 5. So like if you put it in on high level 5, you could feed that over to the output of 9, and that would give you your center channel output. Just don't plug anything into that RCA.
Hang on, I'm trying
Okay.
to find this one because that was
7 and 8 on the 608 are but 9 and 10 on the 810.
All right. One.
Brian at Directed here. Hey Brian, I want to pump some of your tech support calls into the chat to keep you guys on your toes. No. If you want a lot of upset alarm guys, they're going to be like, who's answering this? Dean? Forget it. I'll figure it out myself.
No, but they're tech support.
Oh, keep their guys on their toes?
There.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
definitely. I'll feed them. Yeah, get them on. Let's go. I was at DM608, now DM810. All right, hold on. All right, so then that might have been right. I was thinking, all right, hold on. 608, change, yes. All right, so 3 and 4, okay, so like he was saying, 7 and 8 are the mono outputs, so 3 and 4. So if you went like inputs 1 and 2 front, 5 and 6 rear, 3 could be center, 4 could be sub, and then you'd feed 3 out to 7 or 8. So if you download this, you can go to the iTunes store and download the app, or the Android store and download the app, and you can kind of look at it. But what you want to look at is there's mono channel inputs, meaning like you'll see a group 1 and 2, and then you'll see 3, and then you'll see 4, and then you'll see, and those are what you're looking for. If you feed it into that, then you can rock on.
All right.
5 and 6 are summed. So
Can you explain how to test the ground?
yeah, you use a volt to ohm meter, and you're going to go between point A and point B, and you're going to see what your resistance is. So put it to the little ohm load guy and see what your resistance is. You want the smallest number possible. Closest thing to when you take the terminals and you go like this and you get a 0, the smallest number possible. So to keep in consideration though, a lot of the times these grounds are going to be, so what you want to do is, let's say the ground is 10 feet apart from the battery's ground to where you're going. So you're going to have to put an extension on your leads. Test to see what it is with the extension on the lead. So it might not, you want to see what you're looking at on the meter before you actually go to the ground, because you're going to get some resistance just by adding that extra, let's say 5 feet. So you want to go above that. So write it down and then check and then see what the resistance is. In small numbers.
And the small numbers.
Resistance, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Planet Audio, 1500 2-channel, good amp, and yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hold on, there it was.
I'm
Damn.
trying to.
Tonight is rough, man. What is it good?
For subwoofer.
Yeah, so we sold the 1000s. We sold the, I think he has.
That was the 1500.
Was it the 1500?
I think so, yeah.
It's got like a 70, 80 amp. So it's. The thing about the Planet Audio stuff, like for a subwoofer, is it's cheap, very affordable. And I mean cheap as affordable, not cheap as in low quality. We won't even get into that. We would run it with an 8-gauge power wire because it only had like a 35 amp fuse. And we put like 112 or 210s on it.
Kicker comp.
Kicker comp. like
not
yellow.
the Comp R.
Yeah, just the
or
basic.
Just the basic.
And
the entry
dude,
level.
we sold tons of those. I mean, tons. That was what we called the 5 o'clock special.
Yeah.
It's got a bass knob. It's 8-gauge wire, 100% copper, simple install, and it's just a ton of bass.
Yeah, because
okay?
the kicker comp that was like 300
Yeah.
watts each woofer.
Why we stopped doing it is because the Rockford P300 10 and 12 just destroyed it.
Oh, totally.
It was these guys, and there's one right there, was like, it was a no-brainer. It was easier to install, same amount of bass.
Just
But
one
if you've already
product.
got, if you've already got a 212 box or something like that, and they're small 12s, they're not big magnet 12s, they're top first tier 12s, yeah, it'll work fine. Are you
All
sure?
right,
Good.
so right here.
I mean, it's not a terrible amp. Like I said, they're like $80-$90. They'll power 212s.
Huh?
How can I figure out the wiring for an OEM camera without burning it up? Okay. That has gotten a lot easier. Now we do have a video how to
retain your factory
how to
backup
retain your
camera.
backup camera. It might be how to retain your factory backup camera to Ford or something like that. But we do have a video showing you how to do it. But the nice thing is MetraOnline.com and ScotiaOnline.com have really moved forward really fast, coming out with a lot of harnesses that you can just go on and buy the harness. Now, you don't have to figure it out the hard way. So I would always check there first. If not, you're going to need the radio and a digital multimeter and a screen. I will tell you also that most factory cameras are 6 volts. They are not 12 volts. When you buy those kits like from Metra, they give you a 12 to 6 volt converter. Also, if you can figure it out the other way, PAC makes their 6, it's a 3.5, 6, 5, and 9 volt called the Volt 3.9?
The Volt 3.9.
Volt 3.9 or Volt 9.3? Volt 3.9,
Volt 3.9.
And what that's designed, and that's what we use when we're having to do it. So,
all right. Christopher said,
what's up, Ibrahim?
watching all your shows in the tube, feeling like a pro now. The lockdown day 26. Do you guys hiring? That's awesome. Hey man, thank you for watching. And now that we talk about watching YouTube,
Wait a segue.
Oh man,
Go ahead. Go promoter, man.
You can go to YouTube and find Dean and Fernando car stereo clips. There's a new channel. Questions like this, answers like this, really quick, 1 minute, 2 minutes. You can find it in there. Subscribe. Ton of information in there. All right, keep going.
Yeah, so Dean and Fernando's car stereo clips on YouTube. Volt 3.9 is great. Volt 3.9 is, so PAC makes a couple little magical pieces that we just stock. One of them is a Volt 3.9, the other one is a TR4, and then the last one is the Ignition 3, which we've done videos on all of them. And to me, those are the best problem solvers, period. They fix everything. So it's there's always 6 of them hanging over there because it's what's the problem? It's going to be one of these 3 things. They're going to fix it for us.
All right. I got this one. This is a long one.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I have a 2019 Ram 1500. I have a basic sound system. I would like to 6-channel run component speakers and the back speakers. Do you think the 6-channel would be much louder if I ran all the speakers in their own channels, then running a 4-channel 75x6 or 1000x4?
Ooh. I like that question. I like that question a lot. Okay, so you prefaced it with saying louder.
Yes.
He wants to be loud.
Right.
Okay, so if loud is the ultimate goal,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it like this, 75, 75, 75.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's it's 150. It's 225 watts.
Okay.
Right, so it's 225 watts to 6 speakers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but they're not seeing that because each one is seen individually.
Mm-hmm.
The definition you're going to get by going full active is, to my mind, way better than necessarily being loud, because
Right.
we've done systems that have been loud and we've done systems that have been definition, and the definition wins every time.
Mm-hmm.
Definition wins. I mean, loud is cool, but that definition is way better. I'm gonna say go full active.
I would definitely go full active. Yeah.
Yeah.
Channel per
I mean,
channel,
we've
right.
done. I mean, there again, we've done this. We've done 250 watts on a set of 3-way components. You know, we've taken the LC 61200 and bridged it, channels 1 and 2 to left, 3 and 4 to right, and that's really freaking loud for sure. It's the loudest.
Oh, even the RAM that we just did, you know.
That was active.
But that's what I'm saying.
That wasn't that loud though.
I
It
mean,
sounded good.
It
was loud. But I mean, there again, it was 60 watts and 40 watts, so it wasn't a ton of power.
Correct.
So power is always going to make it the loudest amazing. Right, Mel? Right? Power. It's all about power. So how do you figure out if the camera... Okay, how do you figure out if it's a 6-volt camera? It's a 6-volt camera, but the easiest thing to do is set your digital multimeter... There again, in the video we show this. Set your digital multimeter to DC. Take your black test probe, go to the frame of the radio, which is ground, because ground is universal, and then test the camera wires. There's going to be 4 wires for your camera, 2 shields and a power and a ground. Test until you find the one that says 6 volts or 5.9 volts. You're testing that. So there's a whole process to it, you know. But yeah, and then you move over. Now that you have the positive 12 volts, the positive 6 volts. You move until you find the ground 6 volts. And you have to make sure you find the right ground and not the shield. A lot of the times, too, if you cut back the harness where the camera is, you'll find the twisted pairs and the 2 power wires, because most of the time the manufacturer takes those 4 wires and further in the harness and groups them together to go off to the back. You can also go back in the back to the factory, where the factory camera is, and you can find all those same wires there, and then go up front and continuity test between the two. Unless there is a DSP somewhere in there, which most cameras don't have those.
Yeah.
Have you ever owned a Zed amplifier?
Zed?
Zed Audio. So Zed that was the designer that did the original Hyphonics. He did all that line of amplifiers that all look the same back in the 80s and 90s. So my sad story for that is, when I first got into audio, I wanted to own the original Hyphonics Hercules. Okay, Hercules now is a whole series, but back in the 80s, the Hercules was just an amplifier.
Okay.
All right, so I was saving up to buy a Hercules, and the company that I wanted to buy it from, AVE, which I later started to work for, they were selling all the products cheap. And Hyphonics found out and pulled them as a dealer. Because they're like, you're not going to hoard this stuff out, and we're all going to lose money. By today's standards, it's typical practice. So that's when they became an Orion dealer. And because of that, that's why the path of loving Orion, as opposed to... See, if they would have kept Hyphonics, I'd be a big Hyphonics fan, because we would have continued to sell Hyphonics. And then that would have... So that was one of those fracture points in my life. It turned and took us away from Zed and took us into Arizona. So
that's pretty cool.
Anyways, so Dean, where are you getting content for The Boring Life now that it's hard to be out and about? We're not getting any content for Boring Life right now. Unfortunately, The Boring Life of Dean and Haley has kind of taken a hiatus. We do have some videos that I could put up, and the reason why I'm not is because they were us, like our vacation that we took and that whole series that we were going on. And it's us going to theme parks and stuff like that. And the reason why I've opted to not put those up is I don't want anyone saying, oh, what are you guys doing? Why are you out doing, and it's like, really, the parks aren't open. Everyone slow down. So we're kind of toying with the idea of just doing like something like what's going on, but I don't know. It's rough. But
all right.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the C5 6.5s?
Oh, is that the JL stuff?
The JL stuff. The C5.
C5s?
I
mean, they're better than the C3s.
Yeah, I was not like, oh my god, yeah. But if that's gonna get you in here and the car audio and everything, yeah, why not?
It'd be extra boring now.
Extra boring now.
This is light years better than the Tiger King. Apparently they got one more show coming up. At what wattage would you need to run new speaker wires versus using the factory speaker wire? Yeah, I know. Shush you. I know that. Come on. I know that. I just didn't... Yeah. That's a tough one. okay? Because changing out the factory wiring is getting harder and harder to do, as we know. It's very difficult. The other thing you have to keep in mind too is what are you running on that factory wiring? What are you running? Big components? Are you running just mildly? You know, like is it just a 6.5? Is it a mid-range? What is going on that wire? Because there again, you know, you have limited frequency response passing over that wire. How big does it have to be is the question, and that's where it gets kind of tough. If you're running, let's say, a big mid-bass with 250 watts to it, then yeah, you probably need to upgrade it. But if you're running, let's say, a 6.5 and a you know, just on itself, and you know the passive crossovers in the inside, and that's the only speaker on that wire, then yeah, you're probably good for a lot of wattage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did you like extant apps back in the day? Still run a few. Not to be mean, Gary. No, I didn't. Because I always refer to those as my science project amplifiers, because quite frankly, they scared the crap out of me. Because what you would do in order to install, think of a crossover with the top off.
Okay.
That's the amplifier. So when you'd have to do it, they had this metal top that went over them. You pull the top off and you'd connect it. So you can imagine when you're stripping wires and you accidentally have that one wire that decides to fall on the board. Yeah. Ooh, that sucks.
Wow.
You know, so you had to be.
Did they have a lot of blown?
No, I mean
amplifiers?
it was a high-end amplifier. I mean it did really well. I mean not good enough for anyone to carry them on to today, but it was just kind of a pain in the ass. That's 3 cuss words this show, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah, good times, good times. Well, that brings us to an hour, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Thanks so much for tuning in. What?
Oh my God! No, somebody say, have you ever found any Tony Montana weird stuff in the car? Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Ask us that on Saturday. I'll tell you my cocaine story. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. D&F Tool Drawer is a place where you can go and find cool tools that we use in all our installations. Teespring/store/5star is a place where you can go and get the cool shirts. We're not wearing them today other than these. I didn't think these are up there, but Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips is the channel on YouTube where you can get and just subscribe. Let's just do us a favor. Go subscribe. We're really close to 1,000, which is the run. It's so neat to be really starting over again.
I'm really
and
trying.
Going back and doing that whole new channel thing. It's a lot of fun there.
Hey, Octavio. And if you're here on Facebook, you can go and
12 Volt Clean Wire Club.
Clean Wire Club. Yeah. Pictures of
clean wire. I don't know why I'm talking.
No, you go ahead.
No, it's all you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, just put some cool pictures, man. Wires. It's not gonna be clean wire,
it's gonna get deleted.
Sorry, it's gonna get deleted.
No fancy boxes and flush panels and none of that garbage. It's just clean wire. And let me tell you what, there is some really impressive wiring up there.
Yes,
and
it's a lot. It's pretty cool.
You're amazing, Fernando. You're amazing.
Thank you, Andrew. I like Andrew.
Everyone likes Andrew.
Yes.
Because he's far away.
Far away. That's awesome. That was good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, remember, it's crazy out there right now, so do your part to
stay home.
Well, no, I wasn't going to tell you that. I was just going to do your part to keep your crazy to a minimum. Watch as much as our stuff as you can.
That's right.
Get all hooked up, you know.
Yes.
What is it? Epic? Epic is free right now. Showtime and Epic are free on iTunes as well as most cable providers. Check out Pennyworth, the series of Pennyworth. It's Alfred Pennyworth. And for those of you guys that aren't nerds, it is Batman's butler. And it's a 9-part series, and it's freaking awesome, okay? Check it out. That'll be your homework assignment for this week, so because there's all just garbage. So go watch Epic on Apple TV, or your cable provider is probably giving it to you for free too. And if episode 4 isn't up, which it wasn't, that's why I found it on Apple TV. And episode 4 is like the pivotal turning point in the series. So it's like 1 through 3 was great, or pilot through 3. So it's really tense.
What's the new movie of Disney?
There is none.
No.
Onward?
Yeah,
Onward's on Disney Plus.
That's what I want to watch.
Yeah, if you're into kids and stuff. Yeah. Hoping to get the 45th anniversary mug tomorrow. I just want the amplifiers.
Well, I take them. I take the mug.
I mean, we got mugs. You got a mug.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, dude, relax, bro.
Yeah.
She
All
takes
right,
care
guys.
of us.
Hey, man. Yes.
You guys have a wonderful night as always. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Carol, she did it. She did it.
Carol did it. Carol did it.
Yeah, totally.
No doubt about it.
Bye,
End the show,
guys.
Fernando.